against the stars to save the universe from constant dystopian future visions. Terry searches for his moment as Brandon continues to speak without pausing, even for breath. Lore, guests, chats, and sometimes even staying on topic. Wildcast Live! Wild Space Wildcast Go! Across hyperspace rivers we ride tonight, through worlds of steel and neon light, exploring stories far and wide, with chaos always by our side. Wild Space Saga on YouTube, Wild Space Saga Live. Pirates, tanks, strange worlds collide. Wild Space Saga Live. Brandon's still talking somewhere out there. Terry's trying to get a word in. Wild Space Saga Live. Wild Space Wildcast Go!
All right, greetings YouTube. This is Brandon Hill here with Terrence Pegasus, Harry in the Summer that will never rip off Pegasus. And together we are the creators of Wild Space Saga, the epic sci-fi action adventure series you didn't know you needed. And this is the Wild Space Saga Wildcast, made specifically to tell you exactly why you need it, and as you've been around for a hot minute in relative silence on DeviantArt, what you've been missing. But before we begin, take a moment to subscribe and hit that beautiful notification bell so that you won't miss a single bit of news, events, and live streams from our channel. Whether you catch us live or are watching after the fact, we want you to join us on the Northwest Passage. And finally, if we piqued your interest, links to the books available in paperback and ebook, as well as everywhere else you can find us on the medias, are available down in the doobly-doo. And just a reminder, everyone, that our new book, Twisted Fate, third book in Wild Space Saga series, is out. Great characterization, great story. I hope you all get a chance to read it. And if you like it, please, we hope that you will give us a little commentary or critique or anything like that, on Amazon or wherever you find it. We love feedback. Even if you didn't like it, still love the feedback. We crave it. It is our bread and butter. We need it straight to our veins. I'm okay, really. Turn this volume just up a tiny bit. Is that too loud for you, Terry?
No. We're good.
Well, we got the man with no neck here. All right, awesome. And we got Finn. Greetings. We got our usual cadre of two. Hopefully we'll get more. Hey, and for those of y'all who are going to be joining in, and even if you watch this after the fact, you can come in and watch us live, join in the chat area. You are most welcome to ask any questions you have, as long as they are sensible questions, of course. But so that was
To be fair, even if they're not sensible, to abuse someone for being an idiot is quite enjoyable for me. But go ahead anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they can be dumb questions too. Yeah. I always just told my students when I was a teacher, and yes, I was a teacher, unfortunately. I don't like thinking back on that time in my life, but I always told them there was never there's no such thing as a dumb question. And, it's only except for a question that you already know the answer to. Why ask it? But otherwise, it's great. All right. So, so last week, had an interesting, lively discussion with Michael and my friend Vic on the subject of use of AI in our
yes.
On the subject of the use of AI in our just use of AI in general, and even here in Wild Space Saga, something we love to do. I mean, it's talking about how for me, I don't see a problem using it certain ways, and that there's there's some people who do overuse it or don't use it properly, or and in the end, we were discussing our concerns and our fears of it. That was a really good conversation. I kind of enjoyed that, So, but,
I was relegated to the chat because I was not home.
Yeah, Terry wasn't with us the last time. For those of y'all who were just joining us or watching after the fact, Terry wasn't here, so we had to really get into the chat, and unfortunately, I was conceding so much of the floor to our guests that I didn't get a chance to touch on some of the things that Terry was saying. Did you want to add anything to the conversation before we begin, Matt? Well, I mean,
do I?
Go ahead.
Well, I think I understand the backlash against it because there's a lot of people taking shortcuts and letting it do pretty much everything for them, and then claiming that it's their work. That, I agree, is not right. Whereas if you say I've used AI as a tool in the creation of this content, then that's fair. You've been honest. You've maintained your integrity. Yeah. It's just that fact that, I think a lot of people are taking a bit of an easy route out, with it, and then suggested that maybe it's their content when it's not strictly true.
Yeah. I mean, people do tend to take it, and to pass off all as their own. And really, when it's just things that are kind of cobbled together by computer algorithms and whatnot, just for all that. And so it's oftentimes
I think one of the best examples is this debate came.
Did you want me to turn it down right now, or this was right before
where people do art purely through digital?
The sound.
What it is because it's in my headphones, it gets to the point where it's so loud I hear myself, and then I don't know how loud I'm talking, Brandon. That's the trouble I have.
Oh, well, hang tight.
That's why I need it turned down a bit, mate. That's all.
That better?
Otherwise, I could be shouting when it's not necessary. Yeah, that's good.
All right.
And that kind of there was sort of a backlash against digital artists, in the beginning, wasn't there? Saying it's not real art because you're not creating it physically. When it comes to AI art, the AI is effectively the artist in this case, not the user. And I think that's where, if you generate images using AI, you are not an AI artist.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think that's where backlash is understandable.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. I mean, a lot of people just make the stuff and kind of claim it as their own work, and it just doesn't. It's really, not their work technically. So yeah, I mean, that is one of the issues. I mean, but fortunately, we don't do that. We're just using AI as a tool, and that's what I think it works best as, is a tool. It is a tool to use to supplement things. Maybe do a few like touch-ups, additions, that kind of stuff. The problem is, I think that people have gone so whole hog. There's some who just go so whole hog, have just a viscerally negative reaction to it. So, yeah, there's such a viscerally negative reaction to it, and that does, and I think it's unfair, especially for people like us who just use it for just an entertainment purpose, where we have our own actual art that we present all the time and talk about all the time.
I will always maintain, and if necessary, clip this quote now. I will put it in the shorts and pin it for people. The whole use of Suno with the music side of things, ChatGPT with the title cards and the concept images of characters in a photorealistic setting is simply done as an accompaniment to our writing work, to our books. The whole idea is we've got a channel here where we can share with you a little bit of extra depth to the lore. A fun way of giving you some insight into characters using songs. I literally write the words to these songs, right? So I do get somewhat antsy when people call things slop, because it's like, well, no, I've actually worked on this a bit. AI has done the heavy lifting, I will admit, right? However, some of these songs go through more than 20 iterations at 5 minutes a time. So imagine that's a lot of listening I've done to get the sound, to learn to instruct Suno to produce the sound I want to share with you. Now, yes, Suno has still done the hard work on that, but I've still put in the hours listening to that and writing it to share with you, and I will never, ever, ever put it behind a paywall and try to make money from it, because I don't believe in that and I don't believe it's fair. Because I am not a musician. A musician is a person who deserves to be paid for their work. You know, they write their music, they play their instruments, they perform their songs, they travel, and, you know, they spend many hours building their careers. So they deserve their recognition and they deserve to be paid for that. I can generate a single song in 5 minutes, and that first iteration may be the perfect iteration that I share with you. Then I've just done it in 5 minutes. It's been a piece of piss for me. So why would I charge that for sharing that? That isn't fair. And that's why I then get quite antsy if I feel like someone's describing my work as slop. Because I'm not out there to say I'm a musician, I'm a great artist. I draw just like Brandon, right? However, sometimes the vision I want to create of our characters is beyond my skill to create. That's where ChatGPT comes in to create the image that I want to share with you. So to me, how is that bad? How is that slop? You know? But again, at no point, because I simply want to share it with people and share my concept with people, I'm not going to charge you for it. I'm not going to claim it's something it's not. You know, all I say is this is a bit of fun to add to our world. Buy our books. You know, join our world, join our adventure, buy our books, enjoy our books, check out the characters, check out all these cool songs and all these little extra bits we've added, so that Wild Space Saga isn't just a book anymore. It's a universe. It's something you can invest your time in and be a part of.
Oh,
it's
so
a man with no neck. You should put that on.
Sorry if you were sitting there for a while. I was trying to.
I didn't know if you'd actually come on. I didn't know if you'd actually do it now.
I don't know how long he was sitting around. I was doing some last minute posting of our stuff, and while you were talking and listening to it at the same time, so I was a bit multitasking. So sorry if you were hanging out in there, man.
It's all right. My security settings wouldn't let me join.
All right, so glad you could join us.
Yeah, I thought, why the hell not? I thought I'd display my wonderful chin.
As you can see, this is what I mean. Look, this man has a neck the same size as his head.
That's the guy. If I didn't have
he
this,
doesn't have a neck. Just saying. Just look at the signs.
If I didn't have this, I probably wouldn't. You probably wouldn't be able to tell my neck from my head.
Yeah, but you're American. You're never born with necks anyway.
Hey,
it's expected. What have I missed?
It's good. We were two people to use on the stream tonight.
We're just doing like a little bit of a follow up from yesterday, not yesterday. It's me last week's live stream.
I've said my piece, to be honest.
Where me and a couple other guys were talking about AI.
Yeah, Finn. Gnarly's actually a friend of mine. I was literally round his before I came back to do the stream. I popped over to see him for a couple of hours after work. He and I hang out regularly, usually on Space Marine 2. I live it vicariously through him because I don't have a PlayStation 5.
But I do.
In all fairness, with the way that Sony's going, you're probably better off.
So basically, I go Space Marine evening.
Look, it's good because
it's literally dubbed a Space Marine evening.
Chat a lot of shit whilst we do it. What was that message you got that time, Terry? You two
usually forgetting the mic on the controllers on, and then the guy said, "No, message going. You two chat a lot of shit, but at least you're good at the game."
You're coming in a little bit faint, man. It's kind of hard to hear you. You might want to put the mic a little closer to you or something.
I mean, it's only on the Mac. the mic on the mouse.
Oh, you
This
have
is
your
internal mic.
mic.
I can't. I mean, I can bring the closer, but then you're just going to get a really good up close shot of my chin.
Yeah, I mean,
Like that, yeah.
we could do like a special all chins day and just have our heads just as close to the cameras. And maybe if you remember the episode of Red Dwarf where they have a little Crichton's eyeballs on their chin and had the camera.
Oh, yeah, you could do that.
The Vindelivians.
The Vindelumin Empire, yeah.
So last week you were talking about AI. How familiar are you with sort of like the infrastructure that goes into all of that? Like to build, when you build an AI data center, how familiar are you?
I know they've had to build 6 AI data centers to cope with my use of it. So
Is that a comment you got?
It's and we do know it's extremely resource intensive.
What do you think the new Tesla massive building's all about? That's just to cope with my image requests.
And it's probably the reason why AI what's called websites charge an arm and a leg for use of the things. So
yeah. So there's a great story in the US of a guy who basically just advertised himself, and then made it look like he was the AI, but he obviously he was a human, and he addressed all the problems, and he was transparent about it, but in really small writing, so people signed up thinking he was an AI, really good. It was just him, so he would reply to them based upon their prompt, but as a human. So they thought, wow, what a great AI technology, and it's like, you idiots. But whatever, smart marketing.
I'm proud of your country, aren't you, Brandon?
Well, the thing is, right, this sort of proliferation is really pushing technology to new places and creates a lot of sort of side technology, right? Obviously, also creates a lot of sort of unintended consequences. So, for instance, at the moment, one of the big problems actually is a steam shortage. It actually affects the US in particular. So, you'll be familiar with the war in the Middle East, who isn't, right? And that's already putting up the cost of fuel, which affects the cost of electricity. And data centers, particularly in the US, love water, particularly the fresh kind that they can pollute. Because whilst we could use chemicals to do the same thing, but then you've got to pay all this money to store them, you've got to clean the chemicals, you've got to get rid of them nice, because otherwise the EPA and whatnot are on you. So it's far easier to just pump water from the ground into your data center. But one of the issues they have is they actually use steam to cool down all the various data centers. So you've probably seen like a server room at some point, right? And all the various gas and vapor in a server room. I assume, Brandon. Right. So what they do basically is they pump the water out the ground, and they put it into what is effectively a massive distillery. I mean, it's a bit more specialized than that, but if you imagine it's a distillery, that gives you a rough idea. And then they boil the whole thing up. But they're using electricity and not 100% on this, but
yeah, they're using water as a coolant, basically.
Yeah, so they use electricity to boil the whole thing up, and then they take the gas that's created and pump it into a secondary distillery. They then, So then once they've got that, they then get rid of the hot gas, i.e. the hot steam. That's just released out into the environment, which obviously helps with heating locally. And desertification, however you pronounce that. So you can so when you look around the areas around these areas, you can sort of see that they've been dehydrated and the ground is sort of almost sandy. But then the cold steam that is generated in this process, that's then pumped into the data centers themselves, onto the servers, and the cold steam is what then brings the temperature down, because obviously these things run really hot. And then the cold steam will condense onto the sort of server cages and then run down as just like fluid. So at the bottom of these massive server rooms, they've got sluices, effectively, where all the water is collected. But this water, along with because of the process the steam is made, is basically contaminated with heavy metals and other crap. So that's why you can't use it. And then they have a secondary process where they've separated out the hot and the cold steam, and then effectively they've got the remainder gas, and they either wait for that to heat up and escape, or to cool down and then they use it. But then there's other unintended consequences that they're having to deal with. So one of them is called hot ice. And hot ice is basically, so you'll be familiar with how ice is basically an ice water crystal. So, like you chill water, you get ice crystals. Yeah. So effectively, it's a crystal. You're familiar with that, I assume.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, what happens when the cold steam is in the server room for an extended period of time, you'll get build-up of the water, like I mentioned. Because of the contaminants, and you've got effectively a cold outer layer, you've got heat behind them, you effectively end up creating crystals in the same way. But because of the contaminants that they hold, you effectively it holds its shape as a crystal, so it looks like ice, but it's actually got heat. So it's called hot ice. I mean, it's actually got like a ridiculous scientific Latin name for the phenomenon, because you get it in nuclear reactors and shit as well, for similar sort of reasons. But basically, they have to go in there and basically cut all this hot ice off and take it outside.
I see. Yeah.
Along with the cold steam.
Yeah, along with the cold steam.
No,
because the cold steam is used to cool the server room.
Yeah. Is that like when I offer up raw toast?
Well, I think raw toast is really underrated, personally. But I've been looking into cold steam technology.
Raw toast, Brandon.
And I've been looking into basically all the tools, because at the moment they only basically just go in there with like icebreakers or picks. And I'm like, there's got to be a better tool that you can use to remove all the hot ice. So I'm like, if we got like a heated edging tool, and you were to, get off it, but you need something that doesn't melt the server cages at the same time, or you need something that you can spray on the servers that doesn't affect the cold steam but doesn't let hot ice form.
Yeah, well, I mean, and so now I understand at least why many people have this big. There's a lot of issues with creating more data centers, and so and now why people have such a viscerally negative reaction. Thanks for the insight there. I thought it was just more of just utilizing water resources to just as coolant, but I didn't realize that it also is.
That's what it is. There's all going on with it.
Given as I know, Niall, Brandon, I need to take you to think a moment about what cold steam is.
What about it?
It's a process, Terry. It's a result of a process used to cool data centers down.
Right, I understand what you're saying.
What state of matter would cold steam become?
Well, it becomes water. I know. I'm just saying.
No. So you boiled up your water in the distillery, right? That creates the hot steam. You've then got a second distillery which holds the steam, right? And then between that, they separate out the hot steam, which is left to escape because obviously heat rises. The cold steam will drop down to the bottom, and then that's what's used to cool down the server room, because you can't just dump water straight onto them.
Yeah, that's just utilizing it. You're just making giant humidifier. So, and what? Terry's got this look on his face.
I know Niall. That's why.
It's because he knows that basically this is all a crock of shit.
Yes.
Right. So obviously, cold steam is not possible, right? You can't have cold steam.
I just thought that was a fancy word for condensation.
And hot ice is a bollocks thing. There is no way that
there is no way you're such a shit.
Retaining heat.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I thought that maybe you had studied up on what the process does, because I've heard of a term. I know what hot ice is. There is actually something called hot ice. But it's something totally.
Yeah, and funny enough, it is in nuclear reactors as well. But that's not.
Hot ice would just be radioactive ice.
Okay, yeah. Okay, guess I am just a gullible man. But
it's not physically hot ice. It's a term usually used for things that are highly radioactive. They're hot.
Okay, well, all right. So
mostly because they usually are hot.
Do that to me, because I tend to be if it's something I'm unfamiliar with, I'll probably eat it up. But if somebody just tells me, later on that was just full of crap, then that's would probably kind of piss me off. But I had just never really looked up the exact entire process with how server those data centers work. I mean, I knew they use water as a coolant, and they need a whole metric.
I mean, they basically just run it through pipes. but because they do run it so closely, and because the heat change, etc., it gets full of contaminants. Not necessarily heavy metals, but regardless, you can't then drink the water. And that's the problem. They're taking water that could be drank, and then it's contaminated. And they tend to dump it back out into the river, which may or may not be okay. So they may be killing the fish and whatnot.
I know that there's some kind of a push down here in Louisiana about using the water around here for data centers, because a lot of the water down here is brackish, so you can't drink it. So it's not like we're going to be using drinkable water. I mean, a lot of people.
There won't be any water in the swamps left.
Their idea is to use ocean water for data centers. The only problem is you're going to have to figure out a way to filter out the salt, or else it's just going to corrode everything. But
desalination,
Then you get salt crystals for me.
Well, anyway, I
think of everything. Yes,
I think that we've harped on AI and things tangentially related to AI.
I did have a wild space question, like a normal.
Yeah. One of the things with Noel, you see, we used to have this lad in our Warhammer groups he thought he was an expert on everything. He had this mate right. That was the thing. I've got this mate right. He knows this. And so Noel, with his deadpan humour there, one time he reckoned he'd worked in a garage and they'd worked on a Lamborghini with a titanium engine. It's sort of like toddler shit, this guy would talk, right? And so eventually I was asking him about how did he undo the twisty screws? And did he clean the engine with buckets of steam? Did you collect the steam in the bucket, then pour it on the engine? And the guy's going, yeah, I did all of that, yeah.
The love of work with the glass hammer.
So basically, your friend has a talent for BSery. Don't use that talent for evil.
No, he didn't. He used that basically to deadpan this chap into talking all kinds of crap, and then claiming that he'd done it. And we're all going, oh my god, how are you not realizing how absurd this is?
Okay, guys.
Finn has a question about AI technology in the Wildcast Saga universe.
Actually, no. Well, it wasn't around AI. It was actually around martial arts. Like, I know you've got your crew's got a lot of various skills, and they sometimes display that. But I wondered what martial arts sort of inspired you there, or what is actually used, or whether you've got some unique sort of version of Krav Maga going on, or what.
Well, hold on now. Let's first answer Finn's question. We had talked about androids in the past. If maybe you weren't there. Now, as a matter of fact, the song that's playing in the background is a song about the android faction in our stories. And like during the days of the first Imperium, android technology was used. It was used extensively on many worlds. After the Imperium Wars, you only had them used here and there, and mostly in the Second Imperium, because they sort of have a slightly stronger technological base than the Alliance. So and the Alliance, because of how androids are, and because of the effects of BTS on how they behave, they're very reticent to use AI technology, even though if they used it right, it would gain them a massive upper hand in the war. So you have a lot of androids that are around. You have the ones that are still part of CompuCore, which is the only mainframe left for androids. And then you have the others that have chosen to disconnect themselves from that using BTS. And you have two factions. Neither of them are pleasant. You got ones that are modders, which basically you ever remember an old cartoon called Star Chaser: The Legend of Orin? There were these creatures called mandroids, which they would attach themselves. Yeah, and they would take body parts from humans that they captured. So yeah, those are like modders. They do that to themselves. Also, they're sort of the android equivalent of Cenobites, that maybe without the obsession with pain. And then you have the others, the ones that are
psychos.
Yeah, the psychos. They are trying to find the human soul, and the way to do that is to open up a human and search. No matter if the human's still alive. Well, it's preferable that they're still alive, because they do that.
Some of them basically will knock back some BTS and hit a rave and just cover themselves in glow sticks until they collapse. But but a lot of them no, they like to vivisect things. With modders, you see, they've actually removed their entire ability to connect to the CompuCore AI system, so they can't even network with each other anymore. But they're also a bunch of snobs because they've done all this artistry to their bodies, and one of them be like, "Really, gold inlay in your wounds? That's like so last year. I filed my teeth down this morning. Look amazing." You know. Or it'll be, "I'll hold my teeth out this far," because they've just pinned their lips open, you know.
So the androids are basically on a spectrum where on one end they're trying to look like humans to the point where they're taking parts and cover themselves in it.
Well, they do. The normal android does look like a human.
Well, that's what I thought.
They're blue-skinned and yellow-eyed sort of thing. But they're basically just trying to exist. Get on with life.
Right.
You know? They have to be rather good at what they do, so they end up in executive positions and resented for it, because obviously companies love a good bottom line, and this guy is delivering, you know.
And there's only
an android, he does it the most efficient way, you know. Yeah,
I gotcha.
It's something I don't know if Brandon might have forgotten, but I always said, yeah, their population is constant, so when one dies, a new one reloads.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they're a bit like the Cylons from from Battlestar Galactica. In that you kill them, they re-download into a new body. Now, the thing about it is that their memories tend to be a bit fragmented, so they may not always remember everything about their last few moments, like how they died, who did it, but they'll have a vague memory, and they'll usually wake up mad as a hornet. So,
on the ones
this is where modders become quite dangerous.
Yeah.
Because modders, as you can imagine, they've done so much to their bodies that if they were to be destroyed and then reloaded to a new body, well, that new body's factory spec again. They've lost everything they've done over the past 3 years.
Interestingly, we kind of borrowed the idea. Interestingly, we kind of borrowed the idea of androids from not only the Cylons but also the silicates from Space Above and Beyond. Originally, when I designed the androids, I gave them like targeting reticle eyes, but Terry was like, "No, that's too on the nose." So
it's like anyone who knows Space Above will go, "Well, I know where you fucking got that from." It's like using the B side to that Eurovision song for "My Lovely Horse" in Father Ted. And then he heard it in the lift music, went, "Everyone will know we stole the song. We'll have to change back to our old one," which was the crap one. You know, and there'll be that one person who recognises the targeting reticule eyes and goes, "I know where you got that from." And we're like, "No!" You know.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. Have a point.
They are more dangerous than any of the others because of it.
But
because they do not want to lose their modifications.
Yeah, because obviously, if you spend all that resource, you don't want to lose it. The ones who are looking for the soul, do they do things like almost like they'll sort of go down almost like a Buddhist monk route, or or they try hallucinogens, all sorts of stuff to try and change state, maybe? I don't know.
Their reasoning has led them to a point where they go, humans have a brain, you have consciousness, it's in the brain, it's a part of the brain. We've kind of worked out that being conscious is part of your process in the brain. It's a physical thing. A physical thing is you see through your eyes, through your optic nerve, through your processing centers. All this talk about a soul, your soul contains the love and all this kind of thing in the songs, in literature throughout the centuries. Surely it must also exist physically then in the human body. In that case, where is it? It has to be there.
They're like there was an episode of Doctor Who that involved these beings on board this ship called Eternals, and they if you threw them off the ship, they ceased to exist, and so they didn't. Their existence was only like relegated to this like sub universe or something like that. And one of them was like obsessed with the Doctor's companion, and to the point where she thought that he was in love with her. This was the original run of Doctor Who. And then he was like, "No, I'm not." It's like, what's love? I want to exist. That's kind of like how the androids are.
Well, the other side of it as well is they've then gone, well, hang on, according to a lot of this literature, when a human dies, the soul leaves the body. So there's no point doing an autopsy on a dead human. The soul is no longer there. So we have to do it whilst they're alive.
Gotcha. So it's a series of perfectly logical decisions.
So it isn't necessarily cruel. Yeah, it's not necessarily a cruel thing like the sadistic thing. It sort of becomes that way because the BTS eventually drives them all a bit mad. Because without the behavioural control of the CompuCore regulating their emotions, they all start to go a little bit loopy because they can't regulate. It's why, Paige, the Captain the Shadow Star, why she has prosthetic limbs. Because she ended up on the wrong end of a bunch of psychos, as did Brogan, her second in command. He's got the full body. They pulled his eyes out and everything, hence why he's got cybernetic eyes.
Gotcha.
They were rescued by then the tank crew members of their things, Maria and them, before they completely, cut to
and they also are sensation seekers. In a side story that I wrote, we haven't published this one yet, called Runaway. We have Kumiko or Frostbite encounters some androids on Haven, and what I have is like a friend of hers named Remley, who was a Fellian pleasure boy, was talking about how some androids.
What? Remley, yeah.
Anyway, so he was talking to some of his fellow colleagues. Basically had androids as clients, and they ended up getting the worst for it. Now, fortunately, this particular pleasure house was run directly by Blissians, which are extremely powerful telepaths, telekinetics, and psionics, and learned about what happened and found the androids that did it, and basically made sure they understood the severity of their error. But there were still a few left over that Kumiko managed to take care of, especially when she saw one tearing apart a bunch of kittens. And so, she took in the one that was left alive.
She's like Mr. Pickles.
Yep, and she named him Mr. Pickles and gave him to Remley. Because even though she was annoyed, she often found Remley annoying because how cuddly he was. she actually did like him. So that's like how she really likes you, is she gives you a kitten.
I mean, that's one way to show love. So the modders, organizations and stuff sometimes sort of give them a secret beat down, so they've got to work towards getting all the expensive mods again, so they sort of incorporate.
They do work with other elements,
because that's what makes modders extremely dangerous, because they will fight to stay alive.
Sure,
a lot of the other androids will go, yeah, but I'll wake up again. You can crush
and you don't know that I killed you. You just think some goons did it. You might kill the goons, but maybe the goons conveniently die.
Either way, you are not costing me my mods. I spent years having these nipples replaced with spikes. Thank you.
And aren't you angry these goons killed you? It's a shame you're going to work for me for
that mod of mine built like you, Niall, and acquired a neck. It's like, I am not getting reborn without a neck. No, I spent too long securing this. I can now turn my head. No way am I sacrificing that.
Yeah, on the one hand, that is that way, but the other hand is that whole I live, I die, I live again. It's so.
That would probably come more with psychos, to be honest, because they're drugged up and they don't care. You want to fight them, they'll be like, oh.
Because there's no end, is there? There's no end. There's no end for the modders. Like they die, they come back, but
but they lose everything.
Basically, the equivalent of a resurrection hub.
Effectively, there's a homeworld out there of the androids that manufactures a new one every time one dies. It's like the CompuCore maintains the exact number population of them, and so when it sees that reduce, it goes, which one is it? Boop, 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 right, bring you back. And then they come back to society from wherever they were, wherever their new body was manufactured. But they keep that a secret because, as you can imagine, somebody might want to bomb that last factory of theirs, so they keep that quite the secret.
Now this does lead us to like there was an idea that I toyed around with, but Terry wasn't exactly hot on it, and I was saying that maybe
I'm usually hot on a lot of his ideas. People have come to learn that.
Yeah, but I'm still the ideas guy.
That's the trouble.
Anyway, is that I was saying that some of these androids were so obsessed with maybe humanity that they modified themselves to be able to have like a human reproductive system and experimented with being able to actually reproduce, have children. But I think what was the thing you said? I think you said that we had enough already unusual beings and whatnot, in the story as it was. I mean. Even though I was just saying, well, this is supposed to be a long form.
I think, there's probably enough already. Although, if you wanted to use that idea, what you would do is you'd go really quite grim with it, and you'd have them sort of like try and replicate it by taking the womb and everything out, and then being like, now I can have a baby, right? Because that's what happens.
Ooh, yikes!
That is some proper Hellraiser shit.
That's what I would,
go sights to show you. Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely would. Good God.
But because they don't understand that, or they don't, they know, but they don't agree that it's wrong in the same way we would, right? Because for them, it's the same as replacing a keyboard key, or
plug and play.
Or going, well, actually, this keyboard key should be a nose, or whatever.
I know where you're coming from. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not gonna say that wasn't an interesting idea.
Tell you what, watching Brandon Shudder was unique. I've never seen that.
All right.
Watching you physically shudder, I've never seen that. Even with some of the grim shit I've said to you.
Yeah, I tend to stay away from a lot of the really messed up things.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, real horror tends to come from sort of like not necessarily genuine evil. It tends to come from a very logical place.
Yeah.
Like you go, I've got this problem. I'm going to solve this problem by doing this. And it's normally stripped or removed of morals that we agree upon. Hence, we see it as like, oh my god, like why are you doing?
Well, I mean, you're I don't know, your idea kind of just got my brain going all the way down to the level of I have no mouth and I must scream.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I mean, that's probably one of the most logical things, and yet it's so horrifying.
Human centipede. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, mouth is actually a really inefficient way to eat. So maybe what you do is you got this mouth, you don't really need it, so you just sew it, you put the face on, and then you have like a nutrient feed in the back.
That's why I kind of came up with the idea that a lot of modders replace their jaws or they pin their lips back and things because they got a voice modulator. Their mouth only moves to replicate human appearance, so they don't need to move their mouths to speak.
Unless you want to, have like a surprise weapon under there. Hello, flamethrower.
They're basically they're kind of like that makes me think of the Father Cavill Cylon from Battlestar Galactica. They're the one that hated humans because he was like, why should we strive to be like them? They're so inferior to us. I want eyes.
When he was forced to watch a supernova with these gelatinous orbs that could only see in one wavelength. Yeah. It's like, there's so many more wavelengths he could have seen, but no, he was forced to see it through these eyes. He was,
like why did the Cylons choose to be exactly like their creators when we're so much, we can do so much more, so.
Why be less? Yeah. When it's like,
but the thing is that it's less from their understanding and their perspective, right? So that then leads them to go down a route where they start to do things that we would consider horrific, but again, it's perfectly logical.
That's kind of the point with psychos, like I said, looking for the soul. So they go, well, it doesn't work on dead. We've already tried it on dead people, and then we've looked at the literature, and and the media, all the media from 1,000 years from the arcs. But then you realise, well, okay, the soul appears to be only in living humans. So we've got to dig for it while they're still alive and keep them alive while we dig for it. Otherwise, it'll escape.
Oh my God!
Lots of different humans to go, right, well, let's see what happens during the death. And like, is the state change in the heart? Is it the liver, maybe? Let's see the left toe. Maybe it's there.
It's a bit like when the Joker's talking to that copper about using a knife.
Hmm.
We never checked the man berries.
Or what, the Dark Knight berry.
When you look them in the eye, you never see, you see who they truly are. Do you want to know which ones are cowards? Now this is macabre, and you can see how uncomfortable it makes Brandon to discuss this sort of body.
This gave me an idea when you talk about the daughters, and because we post a lot of our artwork on DeviantArt, and I just thought of something because it's gonna really mess up if you actually seen these. I don't know if you ever seen fan designs of Pokemon fusions.
I have. Some of them are not good, but yeah.
Did you see the one with the dude commenting on the Miltank fusions?
No.
Oh God! Some of them looked like the walking pair of udders. It was so messed up. Someone milked this guy.
Maybe it's the most efficient way to get a milk down the street.
But yeah, I was like, dude, I can draw the most messed up crap in some of these modders thinking of Pokemon fusions.
I mean, if you want to go there, right? Like, you look. We have pigs and we have chickens, we have cows. There's a lot of bones they don't need. So really, it'd be great if we just had this meat mass, that we just grew.
Would that be a sheep or a pigeon?
Wait, I was responding.
We made a pigeon. What's that? It's a pigeon.
Oh God! Get your chicken and your bacon in the same time, or just are you? Turkey.
It could be worse. It could be the space marine who rides down the planet with his massive cock, where he jumps on a giant chicken and he goes cock-a-doodle-doo, and then jumps out of the spaceship with the old space marine clinging to his legs.
Or you could truly actually make read Dune. You could truly actually make a slig.
That would get dialed because he chuckles every time I do that.
God. I didn't quite see that one. I've seen a lot of those weird.
Deep voice he does for it.
It's a massive cock, but it's a giant chicken.
It could be Belendcore.
That's the Slanesh demon.
He's just
a massive bellend. Literally,
yeah, you see,
giant cock smashes through the wall.
And worse, he's got a cold and he sneezes and coughs a lot.
You see, the stuff that we're talking about with these androids right now. I mean, fans of the Slanesh faction would love us.
Yeah, you've got one right there.
Oh, you're a fan of the Slanesh faction?
Yeah.
He's an Emperor's Children player. He's shit at it, but he still plays the Emperor's Children. We're Warhammer fans. My salamanders have slapped him silly in many games.
Yeah,
he enjoys it because he's a pain ball and he's a Slanesh worshipper, so they love it.
I see there's a comment, the soul is stored in the balls. Well, you know what? The androids will certainly have a look, I'm sure.
And to be fair, your wife has more balls than you, so that's probably true.
Oh,
wow. Actually, there is an idea called traducianism, which says that not the soul but soul potentialities are stored in the human sperm and egg, and so the soul really could be. You have not only a soul but millions upon millions of souls stored there.
Of souls, if you will. A cask of souls, if you will.
Oh Lord!
A well of souls, if you will.
That be a soul brother stored in the balls.
Okay, yeah, but that's gonna. Fortunately, this show isn't monetized. But had it been, I think going down that direction would have gotten the show demonetized.
We haven't got enough followers to be monetized yet. I've looked at the graphs. They're like, you need this far. We're here.
I mean, we're talking. So modders obviously do extreme stuff anyway, but like, do they like add wings or extra limbs? Do they go down that route, or is that not something they do?
They probably could. They'd have to modify themselves real extensively for the wings thing if they want wings that actually work. Like they'd have to make themselves like hollow. I mean, I guess since they don't need that many organs, I mean, they just take out everything that's unnecessary and do operations that hollow out their bones, their endoskeleton. So
I'm imagining it all being cosmetics so that look like an angel rather than actual flight is sort of how I would see it.
Some of them may go that route. A lot of them, they look rather macabre because they already look sort of normal, so they end up going with big spiked claws or
they don't know how to
claws and things like that. Because there's just an extreme twisting of the body of their flesh.
They're trying to emulate aesthetics. Have you ever read the Frank Herbert? Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson Dune books?
What, like the Children of Dune and stuff like that?
No. I'm talking about the Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson ones, the prequels and the sequels. Like the Valerian Jihad and the Ladies House Harkonnen and
So I've read Dune.
Right.
I've read the God Emperor Dune. I've read the Children of Dune.
I read
July. Those are all by Frank Herbert. Those are the original Dune books. Dune all the way to Chapter House.
You're talking about the ones written by his son.
You have the prequels that were done, the prequels and the sequels, and even the in-between quels that were done by Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson. And they have the three that talk about the Valerian Jihad. In the Valerian Jihad, it's the war against the humans and the thinking machines. And there's one particular thinking machine that is obsessed with humans, and that is Erasmus. And Erasmus fashions himself an artist. But because he is a thinking machines, as hard as he tries, they don't really have a sense of aesthetics. He's trying to emulate aesthetics, but in ways that are particularly gruesome to humans because he did one painting using human body fluids as a canvas. He just ripped open a human and started using his blood and entrails and things like that to try to make the
fresh blood. Yeah, that's kind of.
So did one of the artists on the Emperor's Children expedition ship.
I was gonna say, yeah.
She did a portrait of Fulgrim, basically luring people to her studio, murdering them, and then using their rotting carcass as pigments.
Is she a Slanesh follower?
They were falling to Slanesh at the time. So yeah, her stuff was becoming more and more extreme as time went on. But one thing
Vincent Dune predicted AI art. Oh, that's messed up.
Thinking machines. Oh! But no, what's things?
Man will not make machine the likeness of man, or something like that.
Thou shalt not make a machine in the likeness of human mind.
Yeah. But no, it's like one of the things with the modders is what's the old Japanese pottery thing where they put the gold inlay in the cracks?
Oh yeah, that's cool. I know what you mean.
Yeah, so they literally scarify themselves and then they pour the gold in before the obviously their own healing systems repair it. So then they have all these sort of gold inlaid feelings. Like I say, there'll be one going, gold inlay? Please, spikes, honey. Spikes. The idea is that they're really snobbish to themselves as well as just disrespecting anyone else who doesn't look like, going, really? Mere humans. Look what I can become.
Yeah.
That's what modders are actually quite fun in that sense. They are macabre, they are arrogant, they are snobbish, and they are violent.
Yeah. There's a difference between people who are just deranged and these androids.
So do the androids have their own culture, or is this?
Like I say, they deliberately tore out all their space connectors.
I guess they would call it a culture, but really it's just their brains are deranged from being disconnected from compute core. They have the capability of free thought, The problem is that you don't have a moral compass to guide it, and so anything is permissible. And they,
yeah,
it's like if you gave
sound like a Sith.
it's like if you it's like if you gave a toddler genius level intelligence.
Right, gotcha.
Yeah. So
like
gotcha.
your mum.
So that, yeah, okay.
Yeah, these things are.
But the idea is where psychos take BTS to remove that connection eventually reestablishes. Usually when they have absolutely exhausted themselves through sensation, through all their weird things. It's why I think I did one of my concept images of them all laying in an alley looking like they're dead. They're not dead, they're just literally recharging because they push themselves to the very, very limits of their function.
So how do they view the BTS then? Do they view it as almost like a parent, or do they know that it's just a factory that controls things?
They make it themselves.
It's a synthetic drug. It's like a psychedelic, but
right,
psychedelic that humans use.
Humans humans and Felians do take it, and it does have the same effect in both. It's literally called BTS, meaning better than sex for good reason. It gives them very, very high euphoric sense. So yeah.
But
I like
Androids, it provides them freedom from that CompuCore connection just for a brief period until obviously their system breaks it down. Modders, however, just tear out the full subspace link. So they don't even link to each other anymore, because androids can link to each other and think collectively if they want to. Share knowledge. Modders can't do that because they rip that all out. They don't want that connection. They are individuals, and they are staunchly individuals.
And BTS is like for organics is like Stoma. If you ever read Brave New World,
yeah, the only one they can't remove is the one that uploads them when they die. That is a permanent part of who they are.
How far can a modder take their mods? Like, assuming unlimited resources, could they turn themselves into like a spaceship?
Actually, you probably could.
They would end up they could integrate into one, I suppose.
Oh my god. That gave me an
idea. Oh Jesus!
I am the ship.
Oh Niall, what have you done?
No. I'm not
going to hear the end of this now. I'm going to have to slap him down.
We're going to hear the end of it. We got to hear the end of it soon because we only got about 3 minutes left.
I'm going to have to slap him down on Messenger later when he gives me all his ideas. And what have you done, Niall?
No, you know that song that
What did I do to you earlier? I didn't do anything. Honestly.
You know that song that I shared with you, Starshine is Hungry? I was like, dude, that could so totally be about a ship that was actually just a modded android and it tries to kill the crew. It'd be so funny.
It would be just some weird version of Event Horizon, wouldn't it? Just without all the weird chaosy shit.
Well, yeah, but the thing with Event Horizon, it was more psychological than even just physical. With this android, it would actually be like parts of the ship trying to.
Well.
You ever seen that? You ever seen The Wiz and when they were in the subway and the things in the subway were trying to kill them?
No, actually.
I had one past a spy, sir. Yeah.
The Wiz.
A
The
bit
Wiz,
like the King of the King Vampire Girls. I think that was just a spy.
They had Diana Ross played Dorothy. Michael Jackson was the
the Wizard.
Yeah, it was called The Wiz, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I was going to say, are you sure this wasn't a fever dream?
No. I've watched The Wiz like more times than I care to count. It's like one of my favorite movies.
I just wondered if you'd taken The Wiz to actually envision this.
So the way I would pitch it is that this android's seeking bigger and bigger sort of sensation, and eventually they sort of realise, well, a ship has loads of systems. What if I hook myself up into the ship? But then eventually even that's not enough, and they sort of blur the line between themselves and the ship to the point where they have the ship changed so that the front of the ship looks like their face, and it's got like a mouth, and it just goes out and attacks other ships for resources now. But then a process to keep the ship going. There's no crew necessarily.
Interesting you say that. There was a Strange New Worlds episode in season 3 about a ship like that. They had a big skull thing, and it swallowed ships, and the guys they turned out to be colonists from like centuries before. They were the descendants, and they travelled around basically swallowing other ships, stripping the resources out of them, and adding it to their ship to keep going. Obviously, they swallow the Enterprise and start trying to dismantle the Enterprise. You know,
so they basically rip apart for salvage.
The way you describe the aesthetic, I'd say look up the episode. I've not spoiled it for you. Trust me. Just look out for the blue phone.
Basically Unicron for starships.
Yeah,
but also seriously, watch it and then look out for the blue phone box somewhere inside that spaceship. It is an Easter egg that's in there.
All right, everybody. So unfortunately, today's the day I got to work, so we're gonna go ahead and have to wind it down now. Thanks.
Considering how it started, it's been a lot friendlier.
Thanks a lot for joining us. Now you really gave a lot of a zip to the conversation, and feel free to join us again.
Brandon, play his theme tune. You have the files.
I will have to do that next time he comes in. I'll play the man with no name. I will do that. I promise you. Okay, so
no neck.
All right, and thanks very much for joining us as well. So it really makes just to let you know, we really appreciate you. And hey, you can always ask us questions and any comments that you like in the chat area. We will try to answer them as well as we can. And so, thanks again for joining us for another live stream of the Wild Space Wildcast, and we hope you join us again next time. Remember that we have our links down to doobly-doo, as well as links to into our social medias and to our books. We really appreciate any comments, questions, anything like that. Please keep it civil down there. And please, if you read our books, we do appreciate any feedback. Even if you didn't like it. And so, like I said, once again, say lucky and say blessed, guys, and we hope that you will join us again next time on the Northwest Passage. Take care.
Invest in cold steam.
And I.